All right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome. So this is lesson 1.8, the very last lesson in chapter 1, and this will be a very quick lesson, kind of simple for you guys to understand, but what is very important is understanding the foundation, which is interpreting graphs of functions. Okay, we're going to be hitting a lot of graphs this year, and I got to make sure you guys can understand what they actually mean and what you're seeing before as you're going through it. The worst thing you guys will have is not being able to see kind of or understand a graph, and that's really irritating to myself and to you as you move forward, because I'll just present something to you and I'll be like, hey, you got to figure this out, and if you can't, you'll get very frustrated. But I want to make sure you guys understand that it's a simple process. Okay, a couple things here. Vocabulary, starting off the bat. To interpret the graphs of a function, estimate, interpret. Key features, right? The blank of a graph are points where the graph intersects an axis. All right, this would be the intercepts. Okay. The y-coordinate of the point of the graph, the point at which the graph intersects the y-axis, is called the y-intercept. Similarly, the x-coordinate of the point at which a graph intersects the x-axis is called the x-intercept. This is the number one thing that most people get wrong, yet the x-intercept, guys, is one of the most important things for you guys to understand as you move forward. It is the solution to most, when we get into quadratics, it's the solution to every quadratic. And when I say solutions, I mean a quadratic is a U-shaped form, and when it crosses here at the x-intercepts, those are the answers. The y-intercept is very important when we're doing linear equations, because the y-intercept gives you the back end or the b value or the y, and I can show you this one and this one right now. But what I want you guys to understand is understand which one the x is and which one the y is. Okay, that's what's very important. So, like for example, identify the x and y intercepts of the lines below. All right, so this is the y, which would be right here. So my y-intercept is -2, and my x is 1. Okay, x-intercept would be 1. It's not x equals 1, it should be x-intercept. Okay, so what that means is the graph crosses at 1. Now, why this is important, as we're going to learn, is remember the y-intercept is -2. I can tell from this function that we're going to go into where we're going to create a linear equation next chapter where it's going to be y equals, and then it's a slope, which is it's y equals mx plus b. If you guys remember what this formula is, that's the slope. That is the slope-intercept form. Okay, and what this is going to have us do is here's the intercept. So instead of b on the back end, it's going to be a -2. That's why the y-intercept is very valuable for us right now. It's making sure you guys can identify. So the x here, x-intercept is -4, and the y-intercept is 4. All right, and then over here, the y-intercept is -4, and the x is 2. All right, those are the intercepts. Just know what they are. If you need to know what the points are, please understand that this would be 0, -4, right? So this would be 0, -4 if we ask you for a point, or on this one it would be 2, 0 for this intersection right there. Okay, understand that aspect as well. All right, what I want you guys to do is find these three. All right, x is 2. The y is, the y is 2, sorry. The x is -2, so this would be y-intercept, right? And this is the x-intercept. This one here, x is -2. The y-int is 4. And then over here, the y-intercept is -4, and my x is 1. All right, simple setup. Make sure you guys understand the values of these as we go forward. All right, now I want you to graph. All right, graph functions based on lines. Okay, so on here, we're going to give you the x-intercept is 4, right? So on this graph, you would count 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, this is the x. It's nice that you have a little x written right here, and then you have a little y written right here. So we know the y-intercept is 6. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. And then I'd want you to graph the line. Okay, so you just connect the 3, 4, 5, 6 together. Okay, and then over here, the y-intercept is 4. dots, just like that. All right, this one here, the y-intercept, or the x-intercept is -3. 1, 2, 3. The y-intercept is -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you would connect the dots there, right? So knowing that functionality, simple as that. And that is not a straight line, but I don't draw straight lines very well. All right, x-intercept is -1. The y-intercept is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your two dots, ladies and gentlemen, and now you have your graph just like that. Okay, simple enough. You guys do the following on your own. All right, this is just a precursor to make sure you guys know the difference between 1, 2, 3, the x and the y. That's all it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -6 down right there. I'll connect all these in a second. So x is 5, and -1 is y. And then here x is 3, 1, 2, 3, and y is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would connect them. For some reason my pen is off just a touch. So, and then you connect the dots right here. Connect that as a line, similar like that, and then this would be a line, something like that. Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys get it, and you've graphed them and you understand. It's not very difficult. All right. So what I want you guys to do now is I want you to find the x and y intercepts of all of these functions. This is not a very difficult exercise, but what it does is it kind of gets you prepared for making sure you guys understand the difference between y and x. And that's what's the most important thing here. All right, so my x values, all right, x-intercepts equals, it's going to be -2 and also 2. And then my y-intercept is a -4, right? Right here, -4. Understand what you're looking at. All right, here, my x-intercepts is -4 and 2, and then my y-intercept will be right here, where my y-intercept is at 2. Simple enough, not too complicated. -2, 4, and then a -2 here. So my x-intercept is -2 and 4, and then my y is -2. Simple enough, right? So what I want you guys to do is practice and fill in your own right here. All right, simple enough. The x-intercepts are going to be -3 and 1, and then the y is going to be right here, which would be y is 3, and then x-intercepts are going to be -3 and -1, and then my y is 1. And then on this one here, my x values, intercepts are going to be 1 and 3, and then my y is going to be 3. Okay, simple enough. Just make sure you guys understand what the concept is, and that's it. That you can identify and don't get confused if I ask for the difference between the x and the y. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to ask you guys to find me the minimum and maximum values of a graph. All right, this is kind of an extreme, or also known as extremas, okay, which would be when you're trying to find it. So on this particular graph, there's a couple maximum values. Okay, maximum would be when you come down and it goes back up. That's a maximum right there. And then it goes down and it comes back up and it hits another maximum right there. So my two maximum value points would be over -2. You're not going up, so that would be 1, -2, 0. The other point here would be 2 over, and I went up 3. So those are my two maximum values. The same thing goes for a minimum. A minimum is on the bottom, or the dips in the graphs, okay? These are very important in the financial world. And you say, well, I may never use this. Actually, you will if you have money involved in the stock market. You'll see the ebbs and flows of how graphs go. The minimum values, usually you want to buy here, sell there, okay? Or in this case, you would buy here, hold on to it, don't be afraid of the dip, and then look at that bad boy take off, and you'd be like, yes, I'm in the money. All right, so this would be -1, -2, and then the other extreme here would be over 3, and it would be down -1. That's the other minimum value. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead and find me the maximum and minimum for those two graphs. All right, last thing on this one here, maximums would be here and here. So I got -2 and 3 is a maximum value, And then also the other maximum value would be 3 over and negative 1 down. And then the minimums would be this one right here, which is -2, -3. And the last value would be right here, which is 3 over 0 up. Simple enough, right? Extremes. Maximum and minimum values. We're going to be using that a lot later on in the year when we get to quadratics. But right now we're going to focus on the next chapter, especially in the intersects. More importantly, the y-intercept is going to be very important as we move forward. Later on when we get to quadratics, in the spring, x-intercepts will be more important. But right now we're going to focus, starting next chapter, on the y's. If you have any questions about this or how to read graphs, make sure you do the homework, you practice as much as you can, because I want to be able to give you just a picture of a graph and you'll be able to tell me basic information from it. Good luck. If you have any problems, reach out to one of your teachers or to myself, and we'll see you soon, guys.